Christ is not looking for people just lugging the ball and chain of their Christianity around. He's looking for people that will go, wow, I've rehearsed the gospel today. When I woke up, before my feet hit the floor, I'm reminded of all the ways you've been good to me, namely that you saved me through the person of Christ, through the finished work of the cross. So before my feet hit the ground, before I type my first email, before I sit down and talk to my kids at breakfast, I'm going to make sure that all of my life today is a response to that. Not just to my desire to be good, moral people can do that. Our call is not to live morally good lives. It is to live gospel-saturated, cross-informed, worshipful lives that bring glory to God. And the only way we can do that is to have the cross in view. For me, I in my Bible, on almost every page, I have 2007 written. On my whiteboard in my office in giant letters, I have 2007 written. On almost every notes to every message that I've ever preached, I have 2007 written. Why? Because 2007 was the last year that I remember what it was like to be trapped in my sin with no way out. I have not forgot the feeling of hopeless despair. I can remember what it felt like, not just physically, but even emotionally, as I laid on that bed in my dorm room watching that little rinkety ceiling fan go around, trying to figure out, do I even want to be here anymore? I remember that. Do you remember that? Like, if you've been saved by the grace and mercy of God, if he's broken chains off of your life and offered you a new life, if you're alive in him, if you have put your faith in him, if the gospel has been seen and tasted in your own life, how often do you remember the moment before you had that? Paul says, you got to have that in view. You got to have the mercy of God in view. So I think about that dorm room. I think about 2007. And then I think about in 2008, because in 2008, I got tricked into going to a Christian conference. Christians will do that. I was told it was a concert with a T. And I like live music. So I was like, great, happy to go. Turns out it was a conference about Jesus. Was not very happy to be there. But I sat up in the very top row, and I'm sure externally my face just screamed, I do not want to be here, and I do not care about this. But I was so desperate on the inside. I had tried so many things that didn't work. I had burned up all the other avenues I thought that would lead to life, and none of them worked. So while externally I looked like I didn't want to be there, internally, as my pastor, Pastor Louis Giglio, preached the word, I thought, that guy really looks like he believes what he's saying. And he's talking about a God who can take ashes and turn them into beauty, and I don't even know what all that means, but I know that my life just looks like a heap of ashes right now. It looks like a bunch of like someone just took a hammer to a mirror and the pieces all broke apart. And for the last few years, I've been trying to, maybe I could put these pieces together and that would make something, or maybe I could put these pieces in. And it began a process for me. It wasn't like that. It began a process where I started asking lots of difficult questions. And over the next year, I found James to be true. As I draw near to God, he drew near to me. As I investigated him in his word, he revealed himself to me, ultimately to the point where I didn't have all the answers to all life questions. I just realized more of life makes sense with God than without him. I've tried everything else. And God didn't come and pick up all the broken pieces and offer me some kind of version 2.0 of the life I had before. He just said, guess what? The message of the gospel is not that I can repair a broken life. I'm going to give you a new life altogether. A new dream to preach the message of the goodness of Jesus Christ all over the earth. And when I stand here now, this is insane to me. When I stand here now, a decade plus, after staring at that little rinkety ceiling fan, I think to myself, there's no way God's this good. There's no way anybody on earth wouldn't want that if they could understand what happened at the cross. And I stare at those numbers, 2007, 2007, 2007. Why? Because most of the people who work at your company, most of the people who live in your neighborhood, they're in 2007 right now. Can I tell you what they need? They need Jesus. And you going to church on Sundays is great. You having a little segment of your life that's Christian is great. But what they need to see most is a worshiper, not just a churchgoer. Someone who has said, I have seen something so beautiful in the cross and in Jesus Christ that I am choosing now to come and lay my life down, to deny myself because I've seen something greater, to lay my life down as a living sacrifice to God. That's what your company needs. That's what this city needs. That's what my city needs. They need to see worshipers arise. Full life, nothing off limits. My primary identity is I'm a son of God, and my primary purpose is not my career path. It is to make much of Jesus Christ during my vapor of a life on planet Earth.
Hey, thanks for watching. To find out more about Houston's First, you can subscribe to our channel or you can go to houstonsfirst.org.